Greetings, skateboarders. Truckbolts here, and this is the first installment of my new little series called Kicktails. I've noticed that all podcasts are just basically invite people on and they tell stories. So instead of waiting to get invited on some podcast, I'm just going to tell my stories. So first story today is going to be about Field Day 1978. So give you a little context. And well, here we go. So in like 1977, my new stepdad, who looked exactly like Uncle Sam, and I mean exactly like Uncle Sam. If he put on the outfit, he was Uncle Sam. And he liked Schlitz and big cigars. And he moved us to Roswell, Georgia, from Bartow, Florida, to Roswell, Georgia, just out north of Atlanta. So our apartments that we moved into were on the edge of the rich part of town. So that meant I went to Crestwood High School, where all the other rich kids, I wasn't one of, but where the rich kids went to school. And side note, Peter Buck from REM graduated from that high school the year before I started. So anyway, I got there, people said, I had long hair. Are you a freak or are you a jock? And I didn't know what they meant. So basically it meant, are you straight? Do you not get high, or do you get high? And I'm like, I don't get high, but I skateboard and I like Kiss, whatever. I didn't fit in. So luckily I met Brad Roberts. He was the only other kid in school that loved skateboarding as much as me. And his parents were super cool to me, and the whole family. It was kind of my refuge going over there to get away from my Schlitz drinking stepdad. And they would let me come by and hang out for hours on end. And me and Brad became best friends and skateboarded all the damn time. So eventually I acquired this old quarter pipe from, I don't know where exactly, but it was 6 feet wide, 6 feet tall, had a transition that went up, turn, up to vert. One layer of plywood falling apart, but I was happy to have it. And luckily I had a job at my local apartments where I cleaned up the trash and cleaned the stairwells and stuff. And I had some money. I got some real nice plywood, made the ramp 8 feet wide, took the kinks out of it, got some coping block for it. And it turned out to be really cool. Had to paint it the color of the apartments because they got mad because they didn't really want it there, but that's another story. But eventually, I don't know if you guys still have it now in school or whatever, but there was Field Day at high school. And that's where they would basically, there'd be no classes that day, and they would set up all kinds of games and stuff and competitions down on the football field. And so it was kind of just a fun day for the people. And somehow I convinced the principal to let me bring my quarter pipe to school. So we set that thing up, and me and Brad and one other kid who I can't remember his name. He did these rad Andrex, but they were only like at the very, very bottom of the ramp. That's all he could do. He couldn't kick to anything else, but he could do these rad Andrex. And I don't even know if Andrex was a thing then, but this is like 78 or something, I'm guessing. So anyway, we get the ramp there. Me and Brad start skating. I was riding my new Kryptonics foam board and my Kryptonics wheels that came right out of this very container. And my first set of Indies, they were 109s. So anyway, but me and Brad, as luck would have it, we're having a good day. We were skating better than we usually do. So he was learning tricks. I did every trick I knew. I did backside grind, frontside grind, tail tap, frontside air, frontside rock walk, backside rock walk, and some inverts with my hands probably 2 feet from the top. But then, as we were doing this, the whole school lined up, and it was just a corridor to the ramp. Nobody was doing any of the games that the staff had set up and the clubs had set up. The football field was empty. The whole entire school was watching me and Brad ride this ramp. And in the middle of that, I did a rock and roll, never even tried one before. I made my first one, and nobody else knew, but I went to Brad, I made a rock and roll, so it was like magic. We went from people that they didn't even know existed in this school to all of a sudden the whole school was watching us. We were tripping. So that's what happened. The staff was all mad at us, and they kept trying to get the kids to go down to do other things, and they wouldn't do it. I think they finally made us stop skating because we had just taken over. So for another week or two, people knew who me and Brad were. They actually talked to us and told us that was cool, and that didn't last. So it wore off. We became nobodies again in no time. But for that little moment, it was magic. And I look back on it now, and we don't have any photos or anything, unfortunately. I do have a couple photos of the ramp that I'll probably post at the end of this video. But yeah, it was really cool. And like, I wish I had a picture, because they were just shooting down that little hallway of things. I remember just making that rock and roll and rolling away and just thinking like it wasn't ever going to get any better than that, you know? So that's my story about field day. And hope you enjoyed it, and hope I didn't tell you too much personal stuff. And until next time, this is Truckbolts signing off. Skateboard as much as you can.